Most people treat retirement like a birthday. They think if they just keep working and keep aging, they eventually reach it at 65. But the math doesn't care about your birthday. Retirement is a strictly guarded, locked financial threshold. You only get the key when your assets generate enough cash to sustain your life without you being there. If you don't hit that number, the door stays shut, and you keep trading your remaining years for a paycheck. To understand why that door is so hard to open, we have to look at what it actually costs to survive in 2026. This isn't about luxury, it's about basic dignity. Between housing, healthcare, food, and rising utilities, the average household needs exactly $6,883 every single month. That is $82,596 a year, just to keep the lights on and the fridge full. If you're 35 right now, looking at that number might feel high, but by the time you actually stop working, inflation will have made $6,883 the bare minimum for a middle-class existence. To generate that $6,883 every month without touching your principal, we apply the 4% safe withdrawal rule. This is the industry standard for making sure you don't run out of money before you run out of breath. When you run the math in reverse, that $6,883 monthly need dictates your target. You need a total portfolio of $1.8 million. That 4% sliver you see at the top is the only part you're allowed to touch. If your pile is smaller than $1.8 million, you're either living in poverty or you're watching your life savings slowly bleed to zero. A lot of people see that $1.8 million number and think they can get there by just saving money in a high-yield account. They're wrong. Look at what's happening to the edges of this block. That's inflation. Even at a modest 3%, it is constantly eroding your purchasing power. If you leave your money in cash, you are effectively watching your future wealth evaporate. You physically cannot save your way to $1.8 million using a bank account. The currency devalues faster than you can stack it. Reaching this threshold requires you to stop hoarding cash and start injecting capital into the market. You have to move away from the safety of a savings account and into a system where your money earns a return higher than the rate of decay. It's a mechanical process of moving dollars from your paycheck into assets that grow. There is no other way to reach the $1.8 million mark. The engine we use to fight that decay is a diversified portfolio, usually the S&P 500. Historically, that engine gives us a 10% annual return. But we have to be honest about the 3% inflation drag. That leaves us with a 7% average real return. This 7% is the actual speed of your wealth creation. It's the net growth after the world takes its cut. We have two parts of the equation locked in. We know the destination is $1.8 million. We know the engine moves at a 7% real return. Now we have to calculate the monthly fuel required to bridge the gap between where you are today and that $1.8 million ceiling. This is the only equation that determines when you get to stop working. X per month plus a 7% return equals $1.8 million. That X represents the out-of-pocket capital you must inject into the market every 30 days. If X is too low, you never reach the destination. If X is 0, you work until you die. We need to solve for X based on how much time you have left. Solving for this monthly variable gives you a target you can actually hit. It moves retirement out of the realm of maybe one day and into a specific monthly bill you pay to your future self. Once you know the exact dollar amount required to reach $1.8 million, the math becomes your roadmap. Time is the only variable in this equation that you cannot buy, earn, or negotiate. If you're 25 years old right now, you have a 40-year window. In the world of compounding, 40 years is an eternity. It allows the math to do the heavy lifting with minimal effort from you. Look at this graph for a 25-year-old. To hit $1.8 million by age 65, your monthly investment is about $680. That's it. The flat line at the bottom is your $680 contribution. The massive curve climbing toward the ceiling is the compound interest. At age 25, the math is incredibly forgiving because you've given it 4 decades to multiply. When we shade this area, you can see the mechanical reality of your wealth. The tiny sliver at the bottom is your actual labor, the $680 you took from your paycheck every month. The massive green section is growth. Over 40 years, the market provides the vast majority of your retirement for you. You are essentially paying a small subscription fee to become a millionaire. Starting at 25 means the system subsidizes your life. You don't have to be a high earner or a financial genius. You just have to be consistent with that $680. But for every year you wait to start, that subsidy disappears, and the cost of your freedom starts to climb. Let's look at the cost of waiting just 5 or 10 years. If you wait until age 30 to start, your monthly requirement jumps to $1,000. If you wait until 35, you only have 30 years left. Now your monthly injection spikes to $1,480. You're trying to hit the same $1.8 million target, but by shrinking the time window, the math forces you to pay more out of pocket. At this stage, you are no longer just letting the market work. You are using your current lifestyle to pay for your past procrastination. That extra $800 a month between starting at 25 versus 35 is money you could have spent on a better house or travel. Now it has to go into the market just to help you catch up to where you should have been. This is where it gets brutal. If you start at age 40, you have 25 years left. To reach $1.8 million, you now need to invest $2,250 every single month. Look at the bars. The 25-year-old is playing the game on easy mode with $680. The 40-year-old is in a financial sprint, trying to find over $2,000 in their budget every 30 days. The math has flipped. On the age 40 bar, your personal capital, the money you physically earned, now makes up the majority of the pile. You've lost the leverage. Because you have less time for the 7% return to work, you must provide the bulk of the wealth yourself. The burden has shifted from the market back onto your own shoulders. This is the point where most people get hit with a wave of dread. They look at a $2,250 monthly requirement and realize they don't even have $500 left at the end of the month. They feel like the window has already slammed shut. This deep discouragement is why most people never even start. They see the steep hill and decide to just keep walking in the valley until they can't walk anymore. This proves that time is infinitely more expensive than money. Every year you delay doesn't just add a little bit to your cost, it exponentially multiplies the capital you pull from your own paycheck. The temporal penalty is real, and it is the primary reason most people will never be able to afford to stop working. Knowing these numbers is uncomfortable, but it gives you operational control. Instead of wondering if you'll ever be okay, you now have a specific monthly mission. If your number is $1,480, your entire financial life now revolves around hitting that number. It's no longer a mystery, it's a logistics problem. To hit that monthly target, you need a mechanical response. We use a 5-step checklist to find that capital in your current life and move it into the market. This isn't about feeling empowered. It's about executing a series of moves to bridge the gap between your current income and your required investment. Step 1. Automate the injection. Set up a transfer that happens the day you get paid. If you wait until the end of the month to see what's left over, the answer will always be 0. Step 2. Audit your overhead. Look at your last 3 months of bank statements. Every recurring subscription you don't use and every convenience purchase you can cut becomes raw capital you can redirect toward your $1.8 million goal. Step 3. Secure the employer match. That is immediate 100% return on your money that lowers the amount you have to contribute from your own base pay. Step 4. Use income scaling. The next time you get a raise or a bonus, don't buy a new car. Move 50% of that increase directly into your investment account. You use your career growth to shorten your retirement timeline. Step 5. Ignore the noise. Once the system is running, your only job is to keep the monthly injection consistent. By turning your retirement into a recurring bill that you pay to yourself, you remove the emotional stress of the big number and turn it into a manageable daily operational system. Every month you wait, that $1.8 million target gets more expensive to reach. The math is moving against you every single second, but starting today arrests that penalty. The moment you move your first $500 or $1,000 into the market, you stop drifting and start climbing. Go to your accounts right now and look at the math. Based on your age, how much is your monthly X? How close are you to hitting it? Comment your age and your current monthly investment below. If you're ready to stop guessing and start building, hit subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.